I'm Madeline Blair, and this is Unlocked. You know, you can't have a career that moves anywhere unless you know how to deal with the unexpected. And Unlocked is here to help you do that because it's all about opening possibilities so that when that something that hits you unexpected or a threat threatens you, you have options from which to choose. Well, today we are going to have such an exciting conversation because we're going to be talking about what it takes to really build brand. And all of us, if we're moving on our careers and we want to move ahead, part of what we're doing is we're building our brand. That's part of it. You may not be running a company, you may not have any products, but you have yourself. So it's all about building brand. And then I'll finish today with the usual, a book of impact, some book that changed my life and work. But for now, I'm excited to bring you my guest. It is Mark Stephen Pooler. Mark, welcome to Unlocked.
Hi, Madeline. Thank you so much for inviting me on today.
Oh, you're so welcome. Well, let me tell the audience a little bit about you. You are the founder, editor-in-chief, media and news publisher of MSP News Global. Mark oversees the company's media business as well as its intersection with global business leaders. And prior to forming MSP News Global in 2020, Mark spent his time as a professional speaker, an international best-selling author, radio TV host, and PR and media specialist. He's the founder of TMSP Agency, a premium media and PR agency. And I hope you're going to talk a little bit about what that group does. And he's also the author of Step Into Your Brilliance. I love that title. And Tips to Create the Life You Desire. So again, welcome, Mark.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Well, you were named one of the top 50 entrepreneurs to watch in 2022. Why?
It was being recognised for all my work that I've done so quickly and building a six-figure media PR agency over the last couple of years, and just recognising me for the work that I'm doing with PR and the people that I'm working with as well, Madeline.
Well, I'm totally impressed with that because I've worked with a lot of PR companies and I'm not always pleased with what they do. So
you'll be pleasing me.
Good. Well, you also have two books that I've mentioned, Step Into Your Brilliance, an entrepreneurship guide for those who want to speak using the power of positive storytelling. We were going to talk about storytelling too, and Tips to Create the Life You Desire. What prepared you to write these books?
Tips to Create the Life You Desire was my very first book. And that was when I was doing a lot more speaking back then, sharing my personal story of being severely bullied, being a drug addict, collapsing and dying from drug use, and how I turned my life around. So that was my very first book, which I'm really proud of. And I shared my personal story, and it just has little tips of how to really move forward in life and how to really change your life from bad circumstances to good circumstances. And then Step Into Your Brilliance. I'd become a bit more experienced by then, and I'd built a successful coaching business, teaching people the skill of public speaking. I did group coaching, one-on-one coaching, all to make people better speakers. And that book's great because it also teaches you how to be good on social media, position yourself as an expert, how to create your own products, services, how to create events, what apps to use for business. So it's like really a guide for new entrepreneurs to really build their personal brand and all the steps that you have to take because it can be a really difficult journey when you're first starting out as a social media entrepreneur, Madeline. And I made a lot of mistakes along the way. And being prepared to write any book, I think it's just about getting on with it, not procrastinating, and you just find things fall into place. I mean, I'm not a big writer, but there are ways of getting books done without having to put pen to paper these days. You can record your voice and have it transcribed. It's not as hard as it used to be, but there are always issues when you are writing a book, and it always takes longer than what you are expecting. So I would just say being prepared is just about getting on with it, Madeline.
Yes, just get on with it. Just stop procrastinating. I couldn't agree with you more.
Yes.
I've written 5 books, and every one of them was a tour de force. But it was telling myself every day, now you're going to do this, and now you're going to do this, now you're going to do this, till you get it done. Yeah. There was something else you said. This background, I did not know about your background. I'm sorry I didn't find that when I did my background search on you. That's totally impressive that you have redone and rejigged your life. Not everybody can.
In the beginning, I used to share my story a lot more because I think it's really, really important to share your story because people connect with you and see your vulnerabilities. But as I've become more successful, I don't feel the need to share my story all of the time. I do still share it because it's so important to share that little bit of your story. But I think in the beginning, I used to share it so many times.
I have encountered that as well with others. Yeah. You know, I'm also curious. You help people build their brand. How long does it take a young, I'll say a young entrepreneur, and it could be someone in mid years. It doesn't matter if you're starting for the first time to really build brand. How long does it take?
So I work with 2 different types of people, Madeline. I work with really successful entrepreneurs. I've even got clients that are original stars of the Secret movie and book. So I work with really high profile brands that really want to get themselves out there and get even more exposure and recognition. But I also work with new entrepreneurs that have no profiles. When I first started in my own business, I had no profile and I couldn't get opportunities. People didn't want me to speak on their stages. I had no Google presence. I had no reputation. And because I had no online reputation, it was really hard for me to create opportunities. So when I started taking advantage of media coverage, I really build up my profile really quickly. So I have made lots of mistakes so that my clients don't have to make that mistake. So if there's a new entrepreneur or a new business that they're new in the industry, I can help them to build their brand really, really quickly so they don't have to make a lot of the mistakes I made along the way. And you can never say how long it's going to take someone to build their own business, Madeline. But what I can assure you, I can build people's profile really, really quickly so that they become the top in their niche or the top expert in their niche online with their online reputation. I can also get them to be dominated on Google. So they're on page 1 of Google News. They also flood YouTube as well. But it also gives the client lots of marketing tools because they get featured in major publications with written credibility articles. They're seen on radio or web television. They're in press releases. And then that gives them access to logos as well. So their marketing will start saying things like, as seen on Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS. So what it's doing, it's building the client's authority, that, and it gives them exposure and readership that leads to building trust, and that leads to building and attracting a client base over time. And what I would say where PR does stand out, it's not like an ad on Facebook where you do an ad for 30 days, you might get loads of leads coming through, but when that ad finishes on Facebook, you disappear from everywhere after the 30 days of the ad. What PR is, it's a permanent footprint. So even 2 or 3 years down the line, you can have people finding these articles, these interviews, and finding your online reputation even down the line. And that's what makes it really, really stand out over an ad, that reputation is there on a permanent basis.
Yes, there's something about evergreen makes a big difference. Big difference. I'm also curious, given how you described yourself, what drew you specifically into PR? I mean, aside from the fact that you had to essentially invent yourself, is that what led you there?
It was a complete accident, Madeline. I started in network marketing. I built a team of 50, recruited in 6 different countries. I wasn't following my passion. I loved social media entrepreneurship, but I didn't like selling others' products. I thought I can create my own products and sell my own products. So I thought, I've got a great story. I love watching the speakers on stage tell their stories. So I left network marketing, spoke all over the UK. I didn't earn any money, just sharing my personal story to really get my skills in public speaking. I then become a public speaking coach because that was the only thing I could do at that time. And I created products around public speaking. But then I got interviewed on a radio show, and they said to me, we'd love for you to co-host the show to an audience of 3 million in the USA. So I started co-hosting the show, and that was the start of my journey in PR. And I haven't looked back. I've been doing it about 4 or 5 years now, and I've had nothing but success, and I'm following my true passion. I've built my own publishing platform and news outlet, MSP newsglobal.com. I've also created my own media and PR agency, TMSP Media and PR Agency. I've got my own web television show, radio show, and I've also got access to hundreds of different publications ranging from business, entrepreneurship, music, celebrity, entertainment. I literally have access to so many different platforms, television shows, to help my clients get featured on great places as well.
Well, I can see now why you were a top 50 entrepreneur in 2020.
Well, thank you.
Yes, you've been certainly busy. You know, the other thing that occurred to me as you were talking, you decided that you would speak and do public speaking. I've done that, and I know the challenges. I studied under someone for 5 years to make sure that I had brought and developed my skills. Did you work with anyone, or did you do it just because you would watching the audience and their reactions and improving that way?
When I started in network marketing, it was a really hard journey. I was a hairdresser at the time, and I'd done hairdressing for 15 years. And I was struggling to make a big success with network marketing. So I made a big decision. I sold my house to become an entrepreneur. I hired a top business coach. I paid around £7,000 to be coached. He's a top speaker internationally, and he teach me on business coaching and public speaking as well. I've also had public speaking coaching. I joined the PSA, which is the Professional Speaking Association. So I really did so much work
Mm.
on public speaking and learned all the skills from some of the top speakers in
You know,
the industry.
Mark, listening to you, it really pleases me because so many people think that because they've done it, they can teach it. And there's so much to preparing for these activities that we've been talking about. It does take time and years to get ready to really present on stage. It does take time and lots of experience and knowledge to be able to work and consult with people. It's a pleasure to talk to somebody who understands the investment that you have to make in order to prepare yourself for these things.
I have spent a lot of money on personal development, Madeline, and I think if I added it up, it would probably be coming up to around £50,000 now in all seminars, coaches,
Yep.
voice coaching. I have done literally so much personal development,
Yeah.
and I'm still doing it today. I've still got coaches today. I have hypnosis to program my mind. I'm constantly working on myself, and I don't do as much speaking these days, but I do speak professionally in schools. I'm with a school speaking agency, and I go into schools out of service to really help children overcome things like bullying, drug awareness, mental health, sexuality, and
Wow.
body image issues as well.
Wow. I'm so happy to hear that. I feel so bad when I watch young people get bullied because it just diminishes their self-confidence. It breaks my heart. What are some things that you teach in those sessions where you talk about dealing with a bully?
Well, I would say you always have to understand that hurt people hurt people. So
Mm,
sometimes you have to
mm,
sympathize with the bully.
mm,
I also would say things like to never suffer alone, seek the help of a friend, a mentor, teacher,
mm,
someone that you feel comfortable sharing it with. You should never struggle alone. And sometimes you have to stand up for yourself as well and not just be walked all over. Sometimes you do have to be a bit stronger to stand up for yourself. But I would mainly say to seek help of a friend, mentor, or
mm.
a teacher, to sympathise with the bully, because hurt people hurt people, and they're obviously got something going on within them as well. But you should never ever have to suffer alone.
Oh, that's music to my ears because, I teach around resilience. And one of the qualities or characteristics of people who are resilient and demonstrated in their life is that they have a circle of friends that support them, that they can go to when they feel pushed or questioned. So that's really good advice. And I also have to be reminded, and I have to remind myself that it's hurt people who hurt people. Yeah, it's there. You always have to remember there's a story back there.
Yes, definitely.
Mm. Well, you mentioned TMSP and that it's an agency. It's a premium media and PR agency. How does it differ from PR? Maybe you've spoken about this already a little bit, but tell me, how do I distinguish you?
I would say what is different with my agency, a lot of agencies out there, they're quite big, and you're not dealing directly with one person. Whereas my agency, it's a lot smaller. I've got a small team of people working with me. So I am working one on one with clients, and
Mm,
it's very tailored and very intimate
mm,
one on one with the client. We do everything to suit the client's need. So we really look into who they're looking to serve, what their goals and aims are, short term and long term. But I would say that's what makes me stand out is you get me one on one, and it's very intimate and tailored.
Thank you for that. It reminds me of my discussions with companies as to why should they hire this small consulting firm to work with them when they could get PwC to come in and do it. And I say, because you get me and you'll get my attention and my team's attention. You won't be dispersed. Yeah, excellent, excellent. Well, why? No, I was going to ask you why should a person come to you for help, but I'm not going to ask that question. When should a person come to you for help? What is it that they should see in their life that signals to them, I really need a PR coach?
I would say if you're a new entrepreneur, just starting out, and you're at the level where you've already got professional photos, your website is starting to look good, and you've got your short, medium, and long bio in place, and you've got a great product or a service in place that you're about to launch, that's a prime time to get PR. When you're ready to launch with your products or services, or maybe you've got a new book that's coming out and you want to become a bestseller, we do bestseller campaigns, or maybe you want to really promote that new book. So if you've got a product launch, that is a prime time. Or maybe you have an interesting story that's really, really important to get this story out to the world as well. That is another time. So whenever there's a celebration, an announcement, a product launch, those are prime times. But when you are starting out, I think it's really important to just have the basics of your website in place first. Professional photos, because you want to look professional when you're going into media, and when you're ready with your short, long, medium bio, and you're ready with a celebration announcement or a product launch, or a great story that you need to get out into the world. Or if you are someone that's really highly experienced and really successful, but you really want to take it to the next level and really dominate your industry in many different media places, to really dominate your industry as well, also that is a great time to come to me as well. So I work with people who are just starting, who want to build their profiles, or people who are already established and they want to take it to the next level.
I appreciate very much that you're saying, if you're just starting out, do at least some of your own homework. Define who you are. Define those as you say, those bios, the short, medium, and long. I love that. Get your photos, your website, because in a way, I know for myself, when I had to do it for my company, which I started 35 years ago, it really helps to clarify and articulate your thinking as much as anything else. Is that seems to me like that gives you something to work with as well when they come to you.
Yes, I think I like to know that people are going to get the best value and the best advantage. And having a website in place and professional photos, and also having a product or a service or a celebration or a launch, those are really things that are required really before I would want to work with someone, because otherwise I feel it wouldn't be the best of value to them until they're ready to go out into the marketplace and really build that profile up from there.
Yeah, I understand that. You want them to be ready. Absolutely. Okay. Now, let's say that the client comes to you and they've invested their money. How long does it take? When can they say, this really was worth the investment? Or what is it? Maybe a better way to say it is, what do you look for? Because I can tell you that as a business person myself, working with PR people, it's very hard to put your finger on, okay, this was really worth spending. Well, what is it that we should be looking for?
Yes, PR is not like you put $1 in and you get $2 out. That's not how PR works. I always say to people, what PR does, it builds your online reputation really, really quickly. It gets you really noticeable on Google, where you literally flood page one, Google News and YouTube. Whenever anyone is looking to give you an opportunity, when anyone's going to want to work with you, they're going to search you on Google. So it's really important your online reputation is really, really high on Google as well. And it's going to give you exposure and visibility, getting eyes on your content so people know who you are and what you do and how you can help them. That is the value of PR. And it gives the client so many different tools where they can share all these pieces on social media, add them to their website. They get so many logos that build their reputation as well. So unlike an ad, it's not like lead generation where you get hundreds of leads coming to you, but it's something where this is a digital footprint that is permanent, and it's boosting your brand to higher and higher levels to give the perception that you are really the top expert in your industry. And you will find, if you are new in the industry, you want to be doing this so that you can have a edge over your competitors. And if you're high up in your industry, you have to do this because your competitors will be doing this kind of work. And I've seen examples where new entrepreneurs will come in, have lots of PR over a 6-month period, and they will overtake people who have been in the industry years and years that haven't taken advantage of PR, because that is the power of PR. Even a couple of years down the line, you can still get clients coming to you from articles and media coverage, even that you did 2 or 3 years ago.
You know, you just said a few things that really is new to me. I'm a researcher, have done that for years. So I always look for evidence. And in PR was so ephemeral, but you've given me real evidence. I can watch my Google rates. I can watch to see if when somebody searches on a particular tagline that relates to me, that I'm up there and evident on the page one. Those are real things to look for, and I appreciate that.
Yes.
Makes a huge difference, because then I can say, okay, I invested X, and all right, it doesn't mean I get an immediate client, but it says I'm out there. Excellent.
Yes. But I have had clients that go on to get clients, they do collaborations, sell books. You can still get a lot of leads from it, but
Sure.
it's not something that we ever guarantee. That's not what PR is for.
Well, I think you've answered my next question. I was going to ask you how to best prepare for PR. But obviously you've already talked about that. Well, then I'm going to give you an example, Mark, because I just introduced a new product, and it's called Mental Espresso. And it's once a week. At this point, it's once a week. We're hoping to do it more frequently, but once a week, I post a short, and the short has a question like, what was one of them? Oh, what are the benefits of AI, artificial intelligence? And then the video is actually a clip from one of my shows where one of my experts answers the question that I have just posed. It takes, well, a short is very short. So within seconds, you have some substance. And anyway, what are your thoughts? Is that something that is worth investing in to do more PR on?
I think if it's something what you're interested in getting more visibility and exposure with, and you want to make sales, you want to get more clients, and you need to get more eyes to that product, or you need more people to know about it, then yes, it's definitely worth getting PR for.
I'm using it mostly to get more people to watch my show on E360. TV, because I think they could, they would see the quality of the people that I bring and the substance, the real content is there. Okay. You
Yes,
can,
I would definitely say if you want more views, press releases are amazing. A simple press release goes out to 200 media outlets, financial feeds, industry news sites, and independent news platforms, including Fox, NBC, ABC, CBS affiliate sites. So, one press release at the price of around 270 USA dollars. Um, it will one flood Google. We also embed a video into the article so that then floods YouTube with the video. So just a simple press release to get visibility. They're so effective and very cost effective as well.
excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. That is exactly the kind of answer that I wanted. We're on. Excuse me. Can you tell us about a time when one of your clients he did it all right, or she did it all right? What's their story? Can you give us an example?
Yes, I can actually. I have a client named Lydia. She's just given me a great testimonial on LinkedIn, actually. She's very successful. She works for a company called Apono Healing. She was part of a book project, and it involved stars of The Secret like Joe Vitale. And I was hired to promote the collaboration book. And I then went on to work with her on media coverage. So I've gone on to do interviews, personal articles with her, press releases. And from that, she has gone on to then collaborate on her own column for Brains magazine. She's won awards. She's gone on to do other collaborations. She's gained clients. She's sold books. She has literally taken PR and really got the full benefits from it. And don't just take my word from it. There's a nice referral on LinkedIn. If you look on the featured articles at the top, there's a great testimonial from her. But she's literally won awards. She's gone on to build her own column for another successful media company. And this has all come from her exposure from the media coverage she had with me.
Oh, gosh, that's exciting when you hear something like that, where someone has leveraged the PR and really seen impact, extreme impact.
Most clients end up meeting other people and doing collaborations and going off and doing their own projects, selling some books, selling some products, gaining new clients, getting new readership, exposure. There are so many positive benefits to having PR, and I have used it to build my business, so I know it works.
I was recently asked by E360 TV to head up their business network, which your show is on as well. And that's another area where I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of PR to get people understanding that having a show is really, it's not just good exposure. It's fun.
Yes, it certainly is. And
Because
I can always do some press releases for you.
good. I accept. Well, we're just about out of time, but I want to make sure that I give you the opportunity to, number one, talk about what specific advice. Now, I have my audience ranges from about 25 to 50. That's where most of the viewers are. And those are times in your career where you really are thinking about how you can advance yourself, whether it's those early advances or whether it's maybe in your late 30s, you're wanting to do a pivot. Now, let's back up and say, what is it as a PR person? how would you advise that they prepare themselves so that their brand, even though they're not necessarily producing a product, that their brand is there for the decision makers to move them, help move them forward?
Just clarify that question for me, Madeline.
I'm thinking about someone who is they know they need to pivot in their career. That doesn't necessarily mean moving and creating their own company. It may mean they want to move from, let's see, maybe they're in the hotel industry and they want to move to another industry because they know that the hotel industry is, and now I'm going to say it's in decline. I don't know if it's in decline, but it's not going in the direction they need, and they want to enter into a profession like maybe it's social media marketing, and they want to move into it. How would they prepare themselves so that people see who they are? That's what PR is about, yes?
Yes. Well, my advice would be you always have to follow your dreams and ambitions, and sometimes you may still have to work a job while you go on to creative ventures. And I had to do that in the beginning, work as a hairdresser while I was building my entrepreneurship business. And I would say, firstly, just get clear on your goal, your vision, and really what you're passionate about. You should always follow your heart's desires and your passions and go with your heart. And once you've done that, take steps every single day towards your end destination. And then once you have found yourself a little bit and you know where you're going, you've started to build a little bit more momentum with, maybe you've got a product or a service in place and you've started to get your company website going, and then you're wanting to build it to the next level with clients, then consider PR. But I think with the question you asked me, there's a lot of steps before PR would be of interest to them.
Okay. Well, I know that there are going to be people watching who are going to be interested in PR. How can they get in touch with you?
Yes, if you would like to get seen, noticed, and heard with worldwide digital media to become known globally, you can go to www.contactmark.me. That's www.contactmark.me. Contactmark.me. And you can schedule a Zoom get together. We'll have a coffee over Zoom, and all of my social media are there as well. Go to contactmark.me.
Mark, thank you so much. This has been a real illuminating conversation for me, and I think for my audience as well. Do you have any closing comments?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I've really enjoyed it. I've loved all your questions, and I really appreciate you, Madeline, and thank you everyone for watching.
Thanks. And now for the Book of Impact. Taste: My Life Through Food by Stanley Tucci. As I thought about what book I should talk about after my conversation with Mark, all that came to mind was the power of brand. For me, one book on my shelves unexpectedly stood out. Stanley Tucci is a person we all know through the many characters he has played on the screen. What always struck me as I watched his characters was how deep and clear they were. In the movie Let's Dance, he played a man who wanted to dance flamboyantly, yet lived in a world that demanded he blend into the background. It would have been easy to portray him as a poor dancer, but Tucci did not take that option. He wanted you to clearly see this person's passion for the dance, and so his dance routines were extremely flamboyant. I can't imagine how long he rehearsed to get it right, just the right flavor to the dance. His costume was flamboyant. His movements were flamboyant. Once he stepped into the character, I saw passion in everything, even when he was blending into the background. He became the brand. More recently, I watched a video series called The Inside Man, where Tucci played a cerebral convict. Every moment reflected that reality. You wanted to hate him, and in the end, you admired the character's brilliance and cool incisiveness. A very different brand. Tucci is a consummate actor who becomes the brand of the character. Then I encountered his book, Taste: My Life Through Food. Suddenly, he became a man in search of great food enjoyed with family and friends. Suddenly, you saw yet another character, a different brand. Everything he writes is filled with affection for both the food and the people. He also includes several recipes, from simple things like a frittata that barely covers a page to a timpano that takes 5 pages to lay it all out. There are pages of dialogue that will have you on the floor laughing. This is a very different brand. And yet it is consistent across the others. Tucci is all in when he portrays a character and when he's playing in his own life. So if you want to see how a person who lays out his brand through a book, or if you just like to cook, this is a great book. And by the way, every recipe I have tried has been delicious and totally consistent with the brand. Taste: My Life Through Food by Stanley Tucci. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you have enjoyed the conversation. Make a comment in social media of maybe something that you learned and something that you might do differently as a result. And if you're watching on YouTube, click the like button and subscribe. This is Madeline Blair, wishing you infinite possibilities as you unlock your resilience.